Hi, Dennis Bulldogs. It's Mrs. Johnson, your school counselor, and today we are going to talk about principles. So, over the last few videos, we have talked about paradigms of ourself, of others, and then how we see the world overall. So, just remember that another word for paradigm is perception, and now that we've tried to narrow down what our paradigms or perceptions are, and we've tried to challenge them, we're going to continue to do so as the videos go on. So today we're going to talk about principles, and just a reminder that we're still going off of and using the 7 habits of highly effective teens. So I am going to read a little bit more than usual out of the book because I think that this is really important and they frame it really well. And then at the end I'll talk to you about what our exercise or homework will be, and I'll link that in the description box below. So what this says here is that principles never fail. We are all familiar with the effects of gravity. Throw a ball up and it comes down. It's a natural law or principle. So that's just the truth. That's just a law that's true for all of us. Just as there are principles that rule the physical world, like gravity, there are principles that rule the human world. So our behaviors, our actions, how we treat others. If you live by them, you will excel. But if you break them, you will fail. Principles include things like honesty, service, love, hard work, respect, gratitude, moderation, fairness, integrity, loyalty, and responsibility. And I know that's a lot of different character traits, and I know sometimes we have focused on those. We usually focus on a different trait each month whenever we are in school. So I'm sure and I hope that some of those sound familiar to you. The paradigms or perceptions and principles chapter, which is what we've been going over the last few weeks, teaches that just as a compass always points to true north, your heart will recognize true principles. So we know when things feel right or feel wrong. A principle-centered life is simply the most stable and unshakable foundation you can build on. So I think in a past video we've talked a little bit about having a balance between different areas of your life. And so I'm going to show you this graphic. So it has a circle, and you'll notice that each piece of the pie or of the circle is equal. And that's because we want them to all match and balance off of each other. Now, sometimes you're going to have to spend more time on your schoolwork. Let's say you have a big exam, and so you're not going to be able to spend as much time with your friends. That kind of stuff happens naturally, but we need to have the tools to regain balance once those short periods of time are over. It says to fully understand why you should live a life based on principles, just imagine living a life based on the opposite. A life of dishonesty, a life of laziness, ingratitude, selfishness, and hate. Putting principles first is the key to doing better in all that you do. So if you just take a moment and think about what life would be like if you were just lazy all the time, you never told the truth, you weren't grateful for anything, and you just hated everything in your life. It would be very miserable and you wouldn't make it very far. For instance, if you live the principles of service, respect, and love, you're likely to have more good, solid friends and more stable relationships. So one of the exercise questions that it asks are, what are other principles I can think of? And so that will also be linked down below, but what are other things you can think of besides love, service, honesty, and I'll list those two just as a reminder of what the book gave as examples. And of the principles that were listed, that you're going to list, what are the most difficult for you to live by? And I think that that's going to take some real honesty, and it's okay that, you have something you need to work on. We all do, and it's just part of being a human. And then it says, think of principles as your life center and your hobbies and interests as spokes on the wheel. In the center of the wheel below, fill in a principle you live by now or admire in others. On the spokes, list the things that the principal influences. And so I showed you like how those interests and hobbies and things are all equal and balanced. And so you're going to have the opportunity to make your own. And I'm going to link to a Word document that you can do this, or you could easily draw this. That wouldn't be too difficult. And so then you're going to think about what are some of the principles that I'd like to have in my life or to work on that maybe is not that evident in my daily life right now. So we will talk about what they call a personal bank account, and I'll talk more about that on Friday. And then just a reminder that Wednesday is a like special topic day of something that I feel like is important for you guys to know. I'm not exactly sure what it will be this Wednesday, but I will figure something out. So I hope you're able to take advantage of some of the expanded learning opportunities. I know some, your teachers are working on some really cool things, and it would be awesome if you could get the opportunity to participate in some of those. So I will post another video on Wednesday, and I'm sending you all my love. I miss you guys, and I hope to see you soon, and I hope you have a great week. See ya.